All right, what's going on, boys? So, it's been brought to my attention by my social media algorithms that apparently there is a new influencer in town that has been going crazy viral and is probably the new face of the black pill or the looks maxers community. And he goes by the name, if I could pronounce this correctly, Clavicular. And so I've been seeing like a bunch of clips of him on stream with Aiden Ross, with other streamers, and then clips of him on podcasts and stuff like that. And I just wanted to go ahead and quickly make this video to kind of just warn you guys and be very careful when consuming his content, but more importantly, taking his advice with a grain of salt. And I already know if this video ends up reaching the masses, there's going to be a lot of his fanboys in the comments flaming me and this and that. And quite frankly, I don't give a fuck, because the purpose of this channel, and I've started to notice as I've recently have been watching some of my old videos, I've always had an underlying message in some of my videos preaching about how you should think for yourself and become more of an independent thinker, and more importantly, listen to the people that you essentially want to be like, or whatever life you see them living, to take their advice, because you're most likely going to live the life that they are living. But there is a caveat with that, and that is, like I said, to take the advice with a grain of salt, because on the surface, yeah, you guys see this guy living in Beverly Hills, making a whole bunch of money on social media, has fame, notoriety, is good looking, and probably gets girls, you know, has all these things that most of us guys want, but you don't think about the hidden cost that he's paid to have all these things up front. Because number one, apparently from some of the clips I've watched, bro is on gear, is doing Accutane, is on like a whole bunch of peptides, but more importantly is starving himself to become and stay shredded. And apparently too, I found out that he's on crystal meth, on literal meth, to try and maintain his hollow cheekbones.
What drugs do you take in a day? I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I take 7.5 milligrams of Accutane a day. I use crystal meth as a stimulant and to lean max. It's much more mild than Adderall, actually, and I'm pretty much using meth for hollow cheeks.
And so while I do understand that it is important to have an obsession and dedicate your entire being to something, and he's dedicated his entire being to looks maxing and trying to spread his message, I do want to advocate to you guys to be smart in how you go about getting yourself to where you want to go in your life. Because I've noticed with me not producing content as consistently in recent months and consuming a lot less, I realized not only how many people are fucking brain dead, but more importantly, how many people let other people and social media dictate how they go about living their life and help them make the choices that they make, only for them, whether it's a day later, a week later, or years later down the road, for them to regret making that choice in that time in their life. And so I want you to be responsible if you do decide to not only take his advice if you're one of his supporters, but to be careful in taking advice from other people online. Because you gotta remember, like, the clips you see of people, whether they're recording on their phone or on a camera, at that moment, that's when they decide to click record to show you that part of their life. You don't know the other decisions and the other things that they're doing in their day to day. And so one thing I can respect about Clavicular is the fact that he is very honest and upfront with what he's doing in terms of trying to maximize his looks and continue to improve his looks. But I do think that he is not necessarily a positive role model for the younger generation of men, because it's like, bro, you were 19 years old, already on gear. You openly admitted on a live stream that you're infertile.
So right now, I am infertile, but I'm not able to have a kid right now.
You're on crystal meth.
I use crystal meth.
Like you're pumping your body with so much shit, but more importantly, you're not feeding it the proper nutrients just so you can achieve some sort of result, and then you try to encourage some of your viewers to hop on tests to do X, Y, and Z.
What drug do you think everyone should take?
Testosterone.
When you're only 19, like your life is just getting started. And how you're thinking at 19, if you're watching this, bro, is not how you're going to think when you get into your 20s, when you turn 25 and your prefrontal cortex is fully developed. Because how I was thinking and how I was going about my life at 19 is not how I'm thinking and how I'm going about my life at 27. Because when I was 19, I wanted to fucking get on gear and fucking get super jacked and get as big as fucking possible. But now at 27, honestly, I really don't care about trying to get big anymore. Like, with all the responsibilities that life is starting to pile onto me as I continuously age, my goals with fitness in particular, so this is the example that I'm talking about, has shifted. Now I just care about maintaining a good physique, staying in shape, but more importantly, being healthy and having consistent energy levels in my day-to-day and building longevity so that I can continuously operate at a high level day in and day out. And I know for myself, getting as big as fucking humanly possible and taking gear to help me reach that goal is just not something that I'm willing to do anymore. And so just be very, very careful, bro, with whoever you're watching, whoever you're supporting. Keep in the back of your head that what they're doing not only works for them, but it may not work for you. But on top of that, it may not be the smartest thing to do, because you got to realize a lot of these people you see that are living these types of lives, I'm gonna be honest, and this may just be me sounding like a hater, but they're literally fast tracking themselves to the fucking ground in the next 3 to 5 years. Because you know what they say, fast money comes with slow problems. And I think the same goes with a fast lifestyle. Like, as fast as they come up in popularity is as fast as they're gonna go down in irrelevancy. And so if you're somebody out there that is trying to build like a great life long term, maybe doing some of these things and taking some of this advice from some of your favorite influencers that you look up to may not be in your best interest. So just be very careful with not only what you're consuming online, but what you decide to pick and choose in terms of the information you consume, but more importantly, decide to apply in your day-to-day life. But that's all I had for today's video. This is my message to all you young guys out there watching this video. Just be very, very mindful of the content that you're consuming, but more importantly, on how you apply it, and be careful with the decisions that you're potentially trying to make. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Turn on my post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my future video uploads, and I'll catch you in my next video. Peace.